Yudhiṣṭhiram Pritamana Babhuvaha. Vamsham Kuruvam Shadavadhirtam Sangrohitva Bhavano Harihi Nishayitva Nijrajayeshwaro Yudhiṣṭhiram Pritamana Babhuvaha. Sūta Uvaca. Sūta Gosvāmī replied, Vamsham, dynasty, Kuroho, of King Kuru, Vamshadavagni, a forest fire set by the bamboos, Nirhrutam, exhausted, Samrohitva, seedling of the dynasty, Bhavabhavanaha, the maintainer of creation, Harihi, the personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, Niveshayitva, having re-established, Nijarajye, in his own kingdom, Ishvaraha, the Supreme Lord, Yudhiṣṭhiram, unto Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira, Pritamanaha, pleased in his mind, Babhuvaha, became. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Savaicharanā Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Sūta Gosvāmī said, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Kindly repeat. Sūta Gosvāmī said, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty which had been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. This world is compared to a forest fire caused by the cohesion of bamboo bushes. Such a forest fire takes place automatically, for bamboo cohesion occurs without external cause. Similarly, in the material world, the wrath of those who want to lord it over material nature interacts, and the fire of war takes place, exhausting the unwanted population. Such fires or wars takes place and the Lord has nothing to do with them. But because He wants to maintain the creation, He desires the mass of people to follow the right path of self-realization, which enables the living beings to enter into the kingdom of God. The Lord wants the suffering human beings to come back home, back to Him, and cease to suffer the threefold material pangs. The whole plan of creation is made in that way, and one who does not come to his senses suffers in the material world by pangs inflicted by the illusory energy of the Lord. The Lord therefore wants His bona fide representative to rule the world. Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa descended to establish this sort of reign and to kill the unwanted persons who have nothing to do with His plan. The battle of Kurukshetra was fought according to the plan of the Lord, so that undesirable persons could get out of the world and a peaceful kingdom under His devotee could be established. The Lord was therefore fully satisfied when King Yudhiṣṭhira was on the throne and the seedling of the dynasty of Kuru in the person of Maharaj Parikshit was saved. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarne Jai Śrī Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is a stage being set up to describe how the Lord departed from Hastinapur to Dwaraka. So before leaving Hastinapur, the Lord established King Yudhiṣṭhira on the throne as the emperor of the whole world. And he was very pleased by this. It says in the verse that the Lord became pleased after re-establishing Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira in his own kingdom. That was the mission of the Lord, because he wanted to establish Dharma, and to establish Dharma, a foremost follower of Dharma, as we learned from the previous verse, wherein Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira is recognized as the Dharma Vratam Varishtha, is the foremost follower of the religious principles. And so the Lord wanted King Yudhiṣṭhira to be established not only because Yudhiṣṭhira was a follower of Dharma, it is also because of Yudhiṣṭhira and his brothers, all the Pandavas, were all devotees of the Lord. So, Vamsham Kuror. Vamsham Kuror, Prabhupada translates as dynasty of the king Kuru. And Vamsha Davagni, Prabhupada translates as a forest fire set by the bamboos. So there was a cohesion or friction caused by the bamboos. Just like if you see in the nature how bamboo grows, bamboo tree grows very close to each other. Each and every bamboo will be very close to each other, and it will be a big area it occupies. And such bamboos, when it grows and after a few period of time it becomes dry and there is blow of wind, there will be cohesion among themselves. And Prabhupada says by this cohesion it catches fire, and the whole group of bamboos will get burnt to ashes. So in the same way how bamboos which grew so closely caught fires, it will catch fire and will burn to ashes. In the same way, in the dynasty of Kuru, who were cousin brothers, Duryodhana and his brothers, and Yudhiṣṭhira and his brothers, they were all cousin brothers. And they all grew together. They all took teachings from one teacher. They all grew under the teachings of one grandfather, Bhishma. And Guru was Dronacharya. And also they took teachings from Kripacharya. So they were all grew under one roof, but still there was a cohesion between them, and a group of, and one set of the dynasty was finished. extinguished. So that's why it is compared to the whole Vamsha Kuru, Vamsha Davagni. It is compared to a cohesion of bamboo tree. So, as we know that they all grew under one shelter. They all grew under Bhishma Dev, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. But still, Pandavas were the rightful followers of the Dharma, but Duryodhana and his party were not the followers of Dharma. And in the Mahabharata we can see that the whole contamination in the Duryodhana happened because of one person. Who is that? Yes. Because of Shakuni. Shakuni had some grudge against Bhishma Dev. Because Bhishma got Shakuni's very dearmost sister, Gandhari, in marriage with Dhritarashtra, who was a blind. This made Shakuni very hurt, and he became very envious against Bhishma Dev. They were very small. Gandhar was a very small place, and they didn't have so much power to, they didn't have so much to say no to Bhishma's proposal when he brought the proposal of Dhritarashtra to Gandhari. And so Gandhari's father accepted the proposal. And also Gandhari also accepted the proposal, and she acted as a blind lady by tying her eyes with a cloth and in an equal status to her husband. But Shakuni, in spite of all these things, he didn't like it. And he came to know that because Bhishma is so powerful and he came and gave the proposal, all these things happened. So he becomes envious against, he becomes hatred against Bhishma Dev. And he also takes a oath that I will never allow Bhishma Dev to live in peace. So that's the reason he will stay within the kingdom of Bhishma. He will stay under Dhritarashtra, and he will pollute the mind of Duryodhana right from the childhood. Right from the childhood, he will put the seedling in the Duryodhana's head of the same hatred, enviousness against Pandavas. And little bit he pollutes the mind of Dhritarashtra also. So that's the reason there was a cohesion in the dynasty. So Duryodhana developed a lot of hatred, vengeance, anger against Pandavas. So these are the characters that he developed. Just like in nature, we see fruits. If you take an orange fruit and squeeze it, what do we get? The content of the orange. What is that? Orange juice. If we squeeze pomegranate, we'll get the content of pomegranate juice. Similarly, respective fruits you squeeze, respective juice you will get. Its content. Suppose if Duryodhana is squeezed, what we get? So many things, varieties of juice you will get. Not one variety, you will get varieties. Hatred, anger, vengeance. This is the character that we develop. Even we, if we are squeezed, do we get one variety of juice? No. Each and every person will have a different combination of juices. That's why Krishna says, this material world is made of 3 modes of material nature. And there is combinations of varieties of modes within every living entity. And we develop those characters. We grow with those characters. Naturally what we should have within us, nobody knows what we should develop. Everyone are living with whatever content they have. And nobody knows how we should modify ourselves to have one variety of juice within us. We are meant to develop one variety of juice within us. And so long we are contaminated with all these varieties of juices within us, we will have to go on with this. Sufferings, birth, death, old age, disease, we have to undergo repeatedly. And when we qualify ourselves with one variety of juice, we can mitigate all these sufferings. We can get out of this cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. So Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsam Sangasteshopajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Just like we see in Duryodhana, lot of anger against Pandavas. What was the reason for his anger against Pandavas? The reason was the kingdom, the kingship. He wanted to be the king. He wanted to be the emperor. That was his desire. We can say it as lusty desire. Because he wanted to enjoy as an emperor. When we see here, Yudhiṣṭhira right away, he said, no, I am not eligible to become a king. Because of me, so many people died in the battle. Because of me, the war was waged. And so many people died in the battlefield. So I am not eligible to become the king. I cannot rule. He said in the previous chapters. But Duryodhana, by hook or crook, he just wanted to occupy the emperor post and rule the world for his sense gratification. Not for the upliftment of the kingdom, citizens, or to rule with dharma. No, none of these things. He just wanted for sense gratification. So it is a lusty desire. Anything we desire for our own satisfaction, it is lusty desire. And anything we desire for the satisfaction of the Lord, that is purified desire, actual desire. So whatever Duryodhana was desiring, it was a lusty desire. And he got to know that this lusty desire will be hampered by these Pandavas. So when we develop within us also, when we develop some desire, and when our desire is not fulfilled, we develop anger. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsam. By contemplating on the sense objects, one develops attachment, desire. And from desire, anger arises. Sangat sanjayate kamat, kamat krodho vijayate. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Shri Radha Govind ki. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. When we become anger, our knowledge will be lost. We'll be unable to discriminate between what is good, what is right, what is wrong. There will be bewilderment of knowledge. Krodhat bhavati sammohaha. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. Smriti vibhrama means, smriti means intelligence. When the knowledge is bewildered, there will be, intelligence will be lost. Knowledge is what? Intelligence is what? Knowledge is to know what is good, what is bad. And intelligence is to apply that knowledge whenever required. We know what is good, what is bad. That is knowledge. And to apply that good and bad at particular time is intelligence. So first, we will develop desire, lusty desires. And when the desire is fulfilled or not fulfilled, we will develop anger. And from anger, we lose our knowledge. And when knowledge is lost, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, we will not know what that person will do. That's why whenever a person will become too furious, too angry, he will never think what he is doing. He will just do whatever comes to his mind. Because of this cycle, this chain reaction. It's a chain reaction what happens without our knowledge also. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, we should curb this. That's why Prabhupada says in many places, we should purify our desires. We should not develop desire to satisfaction our own self. We should desire to satisfy Krishna's senses. So, this is how we can study what was the reason for Duryodhana to develop so much of vengeance against the Pandavas. Now, as I said, when we are squeezed, so many things comes out. Like Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsalya. And when we start practicing devotional service, we think that we will become free from all these things. But there is another set of contaminations when we start practicing devotional service that arises within our heart. What are they? They are Kutinati, Puja, Pratishta, Labha, Jiva Himsa. This, as we learn from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, when we start practicing bhakti, it's like seedling the bhakti. Put the seed in the soil and water it. And when water, the seed will sprout and it will grow, the bhakti creeper will grow. But along with that, there are other weeds which grow along with that bhakti creeper. And these are this Kutinati, Puja, Pratishta, Labha. So, it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarvair gunes satra samasate suraha. When we start practicing devotional service, this verse states that Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, one who has unflinching devotion unto the Lord, sarvair gunestatra samasate suraha, all the qualities of the demigods will be imbibed by the person who is practicing devotion. Sarvair gunestatra samasate suraha, the qualities of demigods will develop. So whenever we start chanting, practicing devotional service, doing some service, reading Prabhupada books, reading Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, all the qualities of demigods will start developing within us. Prabhupada gives the example. By nature, the soul is pure, the consciousness is pure. But somewhere the soul gets contaminated by the desire, lusty desires. It's just like the soul is compared to a glass of pure water, clear water, crystal clear water. Contamination is just like adding a drop of ink into that. And we develop kama, krodha, lobha, moha, it is like adding more drops of ink into it. And the color will become totally contaminated. The clear water will become contaminated. And when you start practicing bhakti, it is a jug of water, crystal clear water, pouring into this cup of water, cup of contaminated water. So what happens? The cup will get filled with the water and it starts overflowing. When it starts overflowing, all the contaminated water will flow out. And the crystal clear water will get filled into the glass. And over a period of time, by pouring the water continuously into the glass, all the contaminated water will flow out. And again, the cup will become crystal clear water. This exactly happens when we start practicing bhakti. When we start practicing bhakti, it is like pouring the crystal clear water into the contaminated. We are all contaminated with kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all those things. Without practicing bhakti, there is no way out of getting rid of those contaminations. Bhakti is the only clear water which gets into the cup and removes all the contaminations out. There is nothing other than bhakti unto Krishna which can remove the contaminations. So, when we start chanting, when we start associating with devotees, when we start reading books, when we start doing devotional service, we are continuously pouring the crystal clear water into our existence, into a cup of contaminated water, and all the contamination is coming out. As he says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana sarver gunestatra samasate suraha. The gunas of the gods is entering into the glass and contaminations is coming out. But in the process, if we again contaminate ourselves with kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, we are adding crystal clear water, we are adding ink into it also. We are adding contamination, we are adding crystal clear water. So the purification will take longer time. We'll have to add bhakti, continuously you are adding bhakti, you are contaminating also. That's why the 10th offense. What is the 10th offense? Yes, not to have complete faith in the chanting of holy name of the Lord and to maintain material attachment. You have complete faith that the Lord, by chanting the names of the Lord, I will get purified and to maintain material attachment. That's an offense to the holy name. Either maintaining material attachment or contaminating ourselves with all the desires, lusty desires, kama, krodha, lobha, moha. This is all offense against the holy name. Not only material attachment, anything. When you start practicing bhakti, you should try to give up kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsalya. Otherwise, the purification will take longer time. It won't happen only. If you continuously pour, we are not allowing the holy name to purify us. And because we contaminate and also we chant, it's an offense to the holy name. The holy name is doing its duty of clearing purifying the existence, but we are continuously contaminating again and again. This is an offense against the holy name. Either we become attached materially or contaminate ourselves with so many things. It's an offense to the holy name. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, we see that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go in Jagannath Puri, and when he goes to Vrindavan, Kashi, even there, Varanasi also, many Brahmanas, many other devotees used to invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for their house, for the lunch. So, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, one of the associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will invite Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for lunch one day. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a sannyasi, and as soon as he goes to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, he will see a lot of preparations made by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's serving. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will see all those preparation and he will say, I am a sannyasi and you are feeding so many things to me. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya will say, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in Jagannath Puri, as Lord Jagannath, you eat so much. And in Govardhan Day, as the Lord Annakota, you will eat so much. And this is just small thing what I am offering to you. You please don't say anything. You please honor whatever I serve you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will sit and start honoring the prasadam, whatever is served to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was offered to Jagannath and served. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had a son-in-law by name Amogha. He was a fault finder and a blasphemer. He will just find fault in the devotee. Because of his contaminated character, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was watchful that he won't come to the house when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes for lunch. But somehow when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya starts serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he will become little inattentive and Amogha will enter inside. And he will see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being fed so many items. And he will say, this person is a sannyasi and he is eating so many things. So immediately Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya will become very angry. He and his wife, both of them will become very angry. And he will chase him out of the house. He will chase Amogha out of the house. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will not take that offensive. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife will become so offensive, will take it so offensive. They will say, better this person give up his life. No problem, even if my daughter becomes widow. But such an offensive person should not be there. Like that, they will curse him. They will think within themselves like that. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but still he will say, why you are so offensive, why you are cursing him like that? He will say, he will have prasadam and he will leave. And that night, exactly like what Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and his wife thinks, Amogha will get cholera, high fever, and he will be bedridden, almost on the deathbed. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will get that information that Amogha is on the deathbed. Immediately Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go to Amogha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will place his hand on Amogha's chest and he will say, a Brahmana's heart is as clean for the Lord to be placed. But Amogha, why have you kept this Chandala jealous within your heart and not giving place for Krishna to sit? Just by keeping the hand and saying these words, all the contaminations within the person Amogha will be cleared. Immediately he will jump out of the bed and he will start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he will beg forgiveness from the Lord. Please forgive me for whatever I did. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further says, because you are the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you have got the mercy of mine. Not only you, even the maid servants or dog in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is very dear to me. In the same way, you are also dear person to me because you are a relative of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And because of this relation with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I have cleared all your contamination from your heart. But see to it, you will not develop it again. So it is just like is contaminated, his cup of water was fully contaminated, Amogha's cup of water is fully contaminated. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu within minutes, within seconds, within no time, he just cleared all the contamination. And he instructed Amogha, I have cleared your contaminations, your cup of water I have made it crystal clear, now don't contaminate again. Don't put again anger, jealousy, vengeance into it again and contaminate it. Chant Hare Krishna and live happily. So this is what we should learn, that we should give up the tendency of becoming anger against other devotees, become jealousy against other devotees, become developing vengeance against other devotees. Not only devotees, even with any person. Unless and until it is required for Krishna, we should not become angry. We should not develop jealousy, enviousness. These are all unwanted things, anarthas. And in practicing devotional service, chanting and doing devotional service, it is very important to note that the clearing is happening, the contamination clearing is happening, and we should not contaminate it again with all those things again. So we should, when we become clear like that, then we will become Pritamana, we will be pleasing the Lord. Just like Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj followed the Dharma and he pleased the Lord, the Pandavas by becoming devotees of the Lord and following the Dharma, they please the Lord. In the same way, we should also follow the instructions of our Guru, Srila Prabhupada. Whatever instruction he has given, we should just simply follow it. Become ourselves, purify, and please the Lord. We should become Pritamana. That is what we should learn from these words. We'll stop here. Kulantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.